Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Talking City podcast from the Manchester Evening News. I'm Tyrone Marshall, hosting today, joined by my colleague Simon Bajkowski. Before we get into City's draw at Arsenal on Sunday, a word for our sponsors, NordVPN. To get the most out of your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/talkingcity. You'll get 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. There's no risk with Malta's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the episode description box as usual. So get over there for NordVPN. If you're travelling abroad anytime soon and need to keep in touch with City's games, then NordVPN has got your back, basically. So get on there and keep supporting this podcast while you're at it. Simon, we've made it back from the Emirates.
Made it back.
That was so close to being a perfect week for Manchester City, wasn't it?
It was. And also, obviously we go to every game and there's a lot of away games where you never know what you're going to get, and you've made the sort of long journey down, albeit, we don't pay to go, but you're thinking, is this going to be a good day? Is this going to be enjoyable? And it really was. It was a really good game, really good afters. So, although a bit of a strange, I don't know. I've seen a lot of reaction to the game, and not all of it very positive about City.
No, I mean, I've seen a little bit that's maybe not positive.
What did you think of it?
What, City's performance?
Yeah.
I thought defensively they were excellent, to be honest. I thought they were unlucky to concede. And when you throw in the schedule, I mean, I'm not really sure what people were expecting. This was 3 games in 8 days. They played Napoli on Thursday night, had a recovery session Friday, walked through Saturday morning, and then went to London Saturday night. They've not really had a proper training session to prepare to play Arsenal away. And Arsenal have had 2 extra days to prepare. And it's one of the toughest places to go in the Premier League. So I didn't really see anything wrong with it. I don't think
City have lost there the last 2 times, haven't they?
Yeah,
and,
got thrashed there earlier this year. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything around that performance that made me think this is what City are now. It was exceptional circumstances, I think, wasn't it? Rather than a sign that Guardiola has abandoned his principles and is now a backs to the wall, park the bus merchant.
No, but also it was quite fun and quite effective.
Well, I said to you, they were Arsenaling Arsenal, weren't they?
Yeah, it completely neutralised Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, when he brought Ake on for, who did Ake come on? Foden.
Yeah.
And then particularly when he brought Haaland off for Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I said to you, it felt like he was almost deliberately trolling them now.
Yeah,
we can do this too.
Yeah.
It didn't work because they can see
So I would say that sort of like from maybe 35 minutes to 45 and 45 to 60, 35 to 60 then, they didn't have enough of an outlet kind of to relieve the pressure, and Arsenal stepped it up. But, I mean, Arsenal stepped it up at the start of the second half, and I was like, oh, here we go. They brought Eze and Saka on and they're looking dangerous. And then sort of we turned to each other kind of midway through the second half, and you're like, Arsenal have created nothing.
No.
They've not created any chances of note.
Didn't really create a chance until they scored, and that was only a half chance at best. It was an exceptional finish.
Exactly. I mean, City had a higher XG than them, I think, over the course of the 90 minutes, or it was very close, which, like, when you've led from inside the opening 10 minutes and then you've defended for the whole 80 minutes against a team as good as Arsenal, I thought it was a terrific performance. And at some point in the second half, I was thinking Arsenal are going to score here. And then when it got to 80 minutes, I thought they're going to do it. City are going to keep them out. And
yeah, I did.
It was almost overconfidence right in injury time. It was almost like they thought, we've done it. We can have one big sort of burst.
Yeah.
And sort of run through at the goal. And then they lost the ball. No one marked. No one put any pressure on Eze. Amazing ball from Eze. Amazing touch and finish from Martinelli, and that's that. Like, you can point out errors for the goal, but it is a very good goal from Arsenal.
Very good goal. It just felt a bit, defended so well, it felt a bit annoying and preventable, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying and it's frustrating, but like, I think as a whole, the performance was really good. And I think certainly like when they were last on the road, when we watched them at Brighton, it was worrying. I came away thinking, oh, right, top four is going to be a struggle this year. And then I've come away from that thinking, well, they can compete with Arsenal.
Yeah.
And yes, it's 2 more drop points, which is not great, but I thought they were really, really good, and they turned the tables on Arsenal because nobody was expecting that City performance, and everyone's been saying, oh, Pep needs to change the way they play, Pep needs to change this, change that. Well, he changed it completely and no one expected it.
Yeah.
So like, that is a good thing, surely, not like, oh, Pep's finished and his football's finished. I just found some of the takes around it odd, and also like the subs. You know, like, I think it was on the BBC blog. As soon as Arsenal scored, it's like, well, Pep's got to get battered for his substitutes now, and you think, is he? Yeah. Like, Haaland is a tough one because Haaland was obviously a big outlaw up front, but it turns out he was injured.
Yeah,
Doku, like you say, they were properly knackered from 3 games in a week.
Yeah.
And they all ran themselves into the ground. It didn't feel like Foden touched the ball in the game, but he probably covered more ground than he's covered. Yeah.
It almost felt like a bit the same team just to like prove points about the schedule, didn't it? I mean, obviously he didn't.
Yeah.
But it kind of had that feel of like, you've done this to us and now we're going to have to make these players do this. And like you say, large aspects of the game, City defended brilliantly. They wound Arsenal up superbly. I think, you know, I think your highlight might have been when Bernardo and Trossard, was it?
Trossard,
threw the ball at each other's balls at the end of the first half. sheer petulance.
But that was,
but
that like, so Bernardo kicked it. He tried to play a pass and it hit Trossard in the unfortunates. And then he's sort of like lying on the ground trying to get his breath back, and Bernardo just like chucks the ball at him. So Trossard, furious with this, throws the ball directly at Bernardo's balls, and he goes down like a flash because they're in injury time, and he's like, I'm going to waste some more time. Yeah. And it's great, and Haaland comes over and he's like, can we just play? And Declan Rice is like, you've not been doing that all game, mate. But that was what they drove Arsenal to in the first half. Like, the Arsenal fans were counting up every time Donnarumma got the ball because they wanted to get to 8, and then
get a corner.
I don't know what would have happened, but it was, you know, they really, really wound Arsenal up, and it didn't really come back on them.
No, it didn't. I mean, maybe we'll come on to a bit more of that. Let's deal with the start first, because the start was obviously very good because they scored early.
Yeah.
And what a goal. I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant goal. You watch it back, and when Haaland gets that ball about 35 yards from his own goal, there are 5 Arsenal players within a yard and a half, 2 yards of him. Like, he is literally frees that ball the moment he gets it, and he is surrounded in a 2-yard circle by 5 Arsenal players. And I mean, it's a shame his link play is not very good, isn't it? It was an unbelievable touch and pass to get it to Reinders.
He's getting very good at that sort of like
getting very good at everything, isn't he?
Yeah. But that turn round the corner that he did, he's becoming a bit of a trademark for him, and it was a really good pass. And then, I mean, you say like, it's just hard to do him justice because he does the simple things so well. And like, again, this week, silly people have been saying he's just a goal scorer. It's like, well, A, goal scoring is very hard, but B, like, look at him there.
Yeah.
Just look at everything he does. And like, he knows from his own half, he can get a goal.
Yeah.
And everyone in the stadium thinks that's a goal. And he's not even crossed the halfway line.
I mean, the speed at ludicrous. Which he burnt Gabriel off was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, credit to Reinders as well, because Reinders picks the ball up and runs with it and waits till the last second to slide Haaland in. But you know, just obscenely good from Haaland. It's why he's the best.
There was maybe a bit of surprise in the summer when Guardiola added him to that leadership group, but I mean, it's stroke of genius, isn't it? Like, he looks like more chest out than ever on the pitch. He headed everything away. He had a 45-second spell against United where he headed everything away. Yesterday, he headed and cleared countless corners. He does seem to have this chest out, shoulders back, that it almost feels like being added to this leadership group has brought something extra out of him.
Yeah, and it might be easy to say, and I'm sure it will happen at some point, but in the past, there have been games and there have been opponents where it's kind of felt like he's got more involved with the opponent than he has the overall game. To use Gabriel as an example, sort of like more interested in sort of dragging Gabriel around half the pitch and winning that particular battle than he has about the team game. Whereas, you know, to see him in his own box, clearing with his feet and his link-up play, like he's properly tuned in, like you say, to being a leader and thinking, I am taking this responsibility to make sure we get a result.
Yeah, feels like he's really, really embraced that role, and he had to do a lot of defending because we didn't see a lot of City going forward after that. Why was that? Was that because Arsenal played so well? Was it because City were knackered and just wanted to defend? Was it a combination of factors?
I think it's a bit of both. I spoke to Reinders after the game and said, you know, was that the plan? And he said, well, no, but Arsenal are very good and we got tired very easily, so we quickly had to kind of adapt and, you know, end up like 5-4-1, 5-5-0, didn't it? It was properly backs to the wall stuff. But they did have Doku, they did have Haaland, who they could kind of get it up to. And while they utilised that, it kind of diffused any kind of Arsenal pressure building. So for quite a bit of the game, City weren't really in any kind of trouble. So again, even if it wasn't the intentional plan, it worked very well.
Yeah, and Doku was very good again, wasn't he? I mean,
yeah.
Is that his best week in the Manchester City?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah. He was, in terms of sort of, again, like taking responsibility and pushing on, being the one to carry the ball and, you know, in such circumstances, I thought it was excellent.
The lowest share of possession for a City team since Guardiola arrived. The lowest share of possession for a Guardiola league team ever in his career in 601 league games, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But they were flipping good defensively, weren't they? I mean, Guardiola was on great form after the game, given that you could easily be annoyed at that result.
Yeah.
And, you know, I pointed to you when our monitor showed him in front of the away end. You could see he was emotional, quite possibly in tears, I think. And he put it down afterwards to looking for his daughter in the crowd and seeing his daughter once everyone had left.
Yeah.
But when he came into the press conference room, he was on really good form and spoke really well and kind of admitted he was surprised as well that his team could.
Well, I think everyone should be surprised at that. I was surprised they could defend that well.
Yeah.
Like, but they really did. And like, first half, Arsenal really targeted O'Reilly, you know, pumping everything to Madueke, and O'Reilly was exceptional. And Kuznov on the other flank was exceptional. You know, I think that was a real big loss for City with Kuznov going off at half time with a bit of an injury because, you know, Núñez was fine, but like if it's Kuznov, does he just cut across Martinelli at the end? I don't know, but he was really, really good. And Donnarumma, again, just kind of, it was a masterclass really in sort of how to slow the game down, but like he was behind everything. Madueke had a shot in the first half, Eze had a shot in the second, and they weren't like amazing saves, but they just gave City what they needed. But the collective effort when you could quite clearly see some players were through the floor and beyond, like how Rodri and Bernardo lasted 90 minutes, I don't know.
Yeah. Donnarumma, he dominated that box as well, didn't he? Arteta was really interested in the press conference when he basically said he dominated the 6-yard box, and he said the timing and the execution of his actions is so good, and every cross that came in, long throws, he's decisive when he comes for something. He gets on it. There was a moment in the first half when he punched something clear, and Diaz sort of stuck his chest out and chest bumped him, and you can kind of see that you mentioned calmness, I think, when we were talking during the game, and he spreads that calmness. but he's also, what defenders want is a goalkeeper they can predict, don't they? And they can predict what Donnarumma's doing.
Yeah.
And if Donnarumma says, I'm coming for something, he's coming for it, and he's getting something on it. And there's, the long throw, we've been told all season now, the long throw is back, and you're going to get it at Arsenal, but you're seeing it in lots of games in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
Set pieces and long throws have suddenly become this huge weapon. And now City have got possibly the best goalkeeping cheat code in the Premier League for dealing with this. I mean, it feels like Guardiola is almost ahead of the game. It's worth letting Ederson's footwork go for a goalkeeper who's going to dominate the box. And they've got Burnley and Brentford next in the league.
Yeah.
Burnley will stick it on him, I guess. Brentford have got the best long throws in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But if Donnarumma keeps doing what he's doing in his 6-yard box, teams are going to get bored of trying it against City, aren't they?
Those who watch Arsenal more regularly than I say it was like their least effective game for set pieces for like 2 years or something. It wasn't always showy from Donnarumma, but it was just enough. Yeah. Like you were like, oh, should he have tried to catch that?
He didn't catch anything really,
rather than punch it,
but he punched it.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like if it works, it's good. To be sort of very binary about it, but one of those things where doesn't seem like a Pep player, but then he kind of is. And I think a lot that's been said in the last week, really on Donnarumma is City need people who want to win trophies at City. I think they lost a bit of that last season because everyone in the squad had won so many things. And Donnarumma is a winner. He's got this winning mentality, but he wants to go again. And they didn't have enough people who wanted enough to go again last year, whereas he has brought something in. He's changed the style of the team a bit because of his individual style, and he's changed the style because they've now got like another big man at the back, big man up front, a lot of big men in the middle, really. But he just brings that air of wanting to win, and he knows how to win. Like, getting booked in the 78th minute for time wasting is just kind of like the chef's kiss perfection. Yeah. It's what happens at the Etihad every week, really, when someone finally gets booked when they've been doing it all game. It was, I need to talk to this person now. I just need to move it to the side. And it was like every trick in the book. And, not that Ederson couldn't do that because he did. But I do remember Ederson getting booked a lot in first half at the Emirates. It's just those little things for your team that make a difference. And I think he's going to make an enormous difference to City this season. He looks a really good signing,
doesn't he? And like we say, if this is going to be a tactical season, then the timing of his signing could be absolutely perfect given what we've seen.
And again, points towards Pep having it right and Pep still being able to see things that other people can't and still being able to stay at the top. Whether it's, I don't know whether City will win the league. I would like to think that they would challenge for the league this season based on what they've shown this last week. But, I feel like the signs from the last week are like, City are there. City are warming up for this season and will push hard in Premier League and Champions League.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute, the week and what we've kind of learned from it. But you touched on the fullbacks before, but I mean, Kusanov was excellent, but like say, only played 45 minutes. Hopefully he'll be back next weekend, but we'll wait and see what Pep says this week. But O'Reilly playing against Madueke in the first half, Saka in the second half, in a still unfamiliar position. And he was sensational, wasn't he?
Really good. Yeah. Really, really good. And it's funny because he's sort of like, he was obviously came from the academy as a 10, and there was a bit of bemusement, maybe, if that's too strong a word, in the academy, the idea of him as a left back. But kind of now he's been tried a few times in midfield, which is where he's more comfortable. And he never looks as comfortable as he does at left back. It's like left back has just become his zone. And he's clearly green enough that Arsenal were like, yes, we're going to target him. But he was brilliant. And he is, as Pepper said, unlike any other academy player because he's a giant. and he's huge, and he's had a few struggles with sort of adjusting to his growing pains and things like that. But he just looks a terrific footballer.
Yeah.
And, England have got a bit of a problem on that left side, haven't they? So
Bold call, Nico O'Reilly for the World Cup squad.
Maybe.
Heard it here first. Heard it here first.
If he keeps going like that, nobody will want to come up against him.
No, and I mean, Ryan O'Neill's got to get back in the team now.
Well, yeah, but he's got pace, he's got power, he's got athleticism, and he's got the nous for being comfortable on the ball, moving up the pitch. He ticks an awful lot of boxes.
Yeah. So the week then, 10 days ago, we were talking about this potentially be a defining week for City's season.
Yeah.
How it felt that it could go right, but it could just as easily go wrong and unravel. 2 wins and a draw feels like a very good return.
Yeah.
Like we say, so close to being even better. But Pep said afterwards that he doesn't give I think his exact words, I don't give about results, and that he basically wanted to see the spirit back, and that he'd seen it this week. And it feels like what he's seen in the games this week and in training, he thinks maybe City are back.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's more evidence in the last week than ever, really. Like I said, I don't know if it will be enough to win things this season, but I think it will be enough to challenge.
You're no longer worried about the top 4?
I'm no longer worried about the top 4. No, I think they'll be comfortably in it. And I'd like to think that they would close the gap on Liverpool. They play Liverpool at home, I think it's early November.
Yeah.
November the 8th or the 9th. And I'm now looking at that game and thinking City could be looking at this game as an opportunity to claw 3 points back on Liverpool. To say, we can beat anyone. Home advantage. We won't have had like 1 day to prepare. Like let's go. Whereas after it just felt really chaotic, especially at the end of the Brighton game. Like the Tottenham game could have been a one-off, but then the Brighton game comes so soon after it, and with the transfer window open, it felt a mess.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Whereas now, like Donnarumma's played 3 games as new number 1, and there's just like a lot of. He's played the same 11 for 3 games, and that kind of gives clarity. And you're now looking at things and like, yes, they've still got injuries, and like Cherky's out for 2 months and Marmoush is out for a few weeks, and you're like, that is unfortunate, but Phil Foden seems to be stepping up, and Jeremy Doku seems to be stepping up, and Erling Haaland is stepping up. And as long as they're doing that, then you're in a pretty good spot even before those players come back.
Yeah. He's not going to play the same team for 4 games in a row, is he?
No.
What? I mean, I would suggest his comment about Haaland was not massively clear at the end, was it? I think he said about he's obviously been struggling with a back injury.
I think he'll definitely miss
this
Huddersfield.
Week. He's clearly going to miss Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what the comment was now, but it's one of those classic Guardiola comments at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of made it unclear.
Yeah.
How they were going to treat it. But like you say, he's not going to play against Huddersfield, is he? I think we know that. What sort of team do you expect then? Because it's often been tricky to predict Carabao Cup teams with Guardiola. City obviously always like winning it, but haven't won it for a few years. Now, do you think we're going to see a bit of academy involvement?
I think we will see probably Macassar and Mafuni from the start. I think they've shown enough that they will be involved. Maybe Regan Heskey off the bench. He's been training with the first team a lot as well. And I think Pep will happily put his trust in those players, but then otherwise it'll kind of be the players that haven't been playing this week, I guess. From James Trafford through to Nathan Ake, Savinho, Nico Gonzalez. I think there will be plenty of experience in the team.
Yeah. And they just need to keep the momentum going now, isn't it? It feels for the first time in a while like they've got momentum, and more than just saying, well, didn't we play well against Juventus or didn't we play against Wolves? They've got 3 games worth of momentum.
Yeah.
They're taking huge strides forward. The fixture list gets a little easier now, but they've got to keep it up, haven't they? Because that's what, Pep said in his Arsenal preview that is basically his title winning teams were a machine.
Yeah.
And that's what's always defined them, isn't it? That they can put together these big winning runs. And you kind of need to see them be more machine-like now when the games get a little easier.
Yeah, and, looking forward to the next international break, City have got Huddersfield away, Burnley at home, Monaco away, and Brentford away. And you sort of like, if you can keep that momentum building through that, they should beat Huddersfield, they should beat Burnley, and then Champions League game at Monaco, which they will be favourites for, and then a trip to Brentford as well, where again, they should win. They should win. They didn't last season, and Pep keeps a track of these things. It's an interesting way of viewing the table. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like, they lost at home to Spurs. They lost away to Brighton as they did last year. However,
first three results were all the same, weren't they? But they're
beating United, and they've got. They bettered their first Champions League result, and they've bettered their Arsenal results. So they are improving, and if they can beat Huddersfield, that builds them up more for Burnley, which builds them up more for Monaco, builds them up more for Brentford. If they could go 4 for 4, then that would be amazing.
Yeah, they'll be in a good place.
3 and a draw, you'd probably take.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I'll do then. Let's see what happens at Huddersfield. We'll both be there in Yorkshire on Wednesday night, and then we'll be back on Friday morning, I believe, to dissect what we've seen and look ahead to Burnley. But for now, thank you for listening. Remember to leave us a review, give us a like as well, and subscribe to get the latest episodes in your feed. But for now, thank you, and we'll speak to you again on Friday.